In today's terrifying explainer, we're not just looking at your standard ghost story. We are going to break down a documented, real-life experience from Rohtang Pass. And we're going to focus heavily on the sheer psychological dread a man named Sahil endured, as he had to helplessly watch a supernatural haunting completely break his best friend's mind. Picture this. It's 3:30 in the morning. A 25-year-old guy is standing in front of a mirror, singing a baby's lullaby to himself. I mean, why? How does a fun, lighthearted getaway between a group of friends devolve into this exact moment of pure terror? Well, today we're dissecting the terrifying vulnerability of the human mind when it's pushed to the absolute brink, all seen through the desperate eyes of a terrified friend. Part 1. Pain and the Unknown Journey. So before the horror even started, there was just heartbreak. Sahil's friend, Samai, had tragically lost his younger brother in an accident. To help him heal and process that grief, Sahil and their friends planned a trip to Manali. But the warnings? They started before they even hit the road. Their hotel receptionist practically begged them to return from their drive before 6 p.m. He told them Rohtang means the Valley of Death, a mountain of corpses. He brought up centuries of local beliefs about a deceptive entity out there, a dark force that preys on night travelers and leaves them dead in the valley. Now, you might be thinking they listened and turned back, right? Nope. Sahil and the group just laughed off the warning as a fake tourist story. After all, thousands of tourists visit Manali every year. But the grim reality they were speeding toward was built on centuries of unexplained deaths and dark folklore. Their modern skepticism completely blinded them to the ancient lurking danger they were driving straight into. Part 2. The terrifying 28-kilometer loop. The dark night quickly swallowed them up. They were driving at a crawl, maybe 30 kilometers per hour, through this thick, blinding fog. The vast open mountains suddenly turned into a claustrophobic trap. And this is where Sahil's psychological dread truly sets in. At 9:15 p.m., they pass a milestone reading Manali, 28 km. 20 minutes later, at 9:35 p.m., they pass the exact same milestone. By 11 a.m., they're still seeing it. Sahil realizes, with this growing, suffocating horror, that they are trapped in a physical loop. Their entire sense of time and space is just completely warped. Part 3. Differing terrifying visions. This geographical trap then suddenly shatters into a severe psychological fracture. The nightmare gets deeply personal. At the exact same spot, Sahil sees a man in a white dhoti. Chirag sees a little girl with a toy. Arun sees a black horse. But as absolute panic sets in for Sahil, he notices Samai reacting entirely differently. Samai isn't seeing a monster. Instead, he slips into this deeply disturbing trance-like state, just murmuring over and over that someone needs our help. Then comes the terrifying escalation. A 15-year-old boy, covered in dirt and wounds, is casually walking alongside their car. Now remember, their car is moving at 40 kilometers per hour. Just imagine the sheer terror Sahil must have felt witnessing this impossible physical feat. The boy isn't running. He is effortlessly keeping pace with their vehicle in the dead of night. Inside the car, utter panic erupts. The central locking completely fails. Sahil watches in absolute horror as Samay, looking totally mesmerized, just opens his window to the freezing night. As they speed up to get away, the wounded boy waves from the rearview mirror, and chillingly, Samay smiles and waves back. Sahil and the others barely manage a frantic escape, finally breaking the loop and reaching the 16 km milestone just before 2 a.m. Part 4. The Stranger in the Mirror. Sahil probably thought the nightmare was over when they finally reached safety of their hotel room. But the true climax of his psychological terror was just waiting for the dead of night. At 3:30 a.m., Sahil jolts awake to a sickening sound. Samaya standing in the dark, staring into the mirror, singing a sweet baby's lullaby. You are my moon, you are my sun, you are the star of my eyes, you are alive. But as Sahil steps closer, he sees Samaya's eyes are blood red, and there are visible marks on his neck, like invisible hands are violently choking him from both sides. While Sahil and the others desperately try to pull him away from the glass, the entity speaks its final, chilling question right through Samay. It asks, "If I knock on your window at night, will you open it and help me?" And it says this with an innocent child's laugh, right before Samay completely loses consciousness in Sahil's arms. Part 5. The Psychological Truth of Fear. The morning after finally brought some dark clarity. When Sahil took Samai to a local pundit, the psychological truth of this terror was laid bare. The pundit immediately identified the vulnerability, sensing a recent death surrounding Samai. The dark entity hadn't just picked a random target, it used the guise of a lost child to prey specifically on a broken psyche. Through a traditional cleansing ritual, using Nazar and Jodhpunk, the entity's hold was broken. But for Sahel, watching his friend violently expel a dark, thick liquid made it undeniably clear that the supernatural entity and Samai's suffocating, unresolved grief were entirely intertwined. So, I want to leave you with a provocative thought here. Was that shadow truly out there in Rothang, or did Samai's own crushing grief invite it in? Where do we actually draw the line between physical hauntings and the ghosts created by our own trauma? Thank you for joining me in this explainer, and remember, keep questioning what you see in the dark.